You asked for it, so today we're doing it. It's a Canadian food vlog, but I know what you're thinking. Oh, he's gonna go stereotypical and go to Tim Hortons and get a double-double and a pack of Timbits. But us as Canadians, that's not how we do. Well, a lot of people do that. But we support the little guy. And that's why today, when we're getting donuts, we're gonna shop local. Which is why we've come to Lucky's Donuts to snag what we need here. Today, we're not just doing donuts. We're doing snacks, we're doing meals, we're doing treats, desserts, and we're finishing with drinks. So if you're new to the channel, I'm Mike. The channel is DownieLive. Let's get into it. Why donuts? It's the 5 a.m. hockey practice, breakfast for parents. It's a treat for kids. It's delicious. I don't know, something about donuts. I'm gonna go crazy. Delicious. That's a donut. Now, of course, as a kid, I didn't like the apple bacon fritter. That was a weird donut for me as a kid that liked pretty much plain things. So the go-to is the cinnamon sugar donut. Staple in every house. Look how good that looks. Now, there's something about Canadians eating fatty foods, and we'll get into that later. Something about us having to stay warm through the long, cold winter months. And I say that from the most temperate city in Canada, but you know, for the rest of Canada, it's pretty important. Okay, now that we have our metabolism going, let's go get some real food. Next up, we're gonna go get some snacks that I've never tried before, but you can only get in Canada. Okay, we're now at Granville Island, where we're gonna get some Canadian beef jerky, which is not beef, nor is it jerky. You'll see in a minute, and we're gonna get some desserts. First stop is Longliner Seafood for smoked salmon. Now they do have salmon jerky, but we're here for the maple candied nuggets. Can I get the maple syrup glazed candy spring salmon nuggets, please?
Here we go.
Thank you.
You're so welcome.
All right, first things first, snack time. I love French fries. I love ketchup on my French fries, but ketchup chips has never appealed to me. You can see the chip there has like a red powder tint on it. It's just like powdered ketchup instead of liquid ketchup. And I guess I like mine goopy. That sounds so weird. Let's give them a try. Oh no. No! I like them! I've been missing out! I thought it was like it's a powdered ketchup, so I didn't think I'd like it. I'm so confused. I'll tell you, I don't not like them. Like I thought I did. Okay, they're good. They're good. What's next? Chocolate bar. Coffee crisp. Now this didn't make sense to me as a kid. I liked chocolate bars as a kid, but I didn't like coffee, so why would you make a coffee flavored chocolate bar? And then I realized adults like chocolate bars too. I had one when I was a kid, hated it, haven't had one since, but now that I like coffee, maybe it's time. Oh, it's super flaky. A little bit crumbly, clearly putting the crisp in coffee crisp to its name. Let's give it a go. So there's a lot of wafer in the middle, but the chocolate is that same Nestle chocolate that I loved as a kid, and there's not too much coffee flavor. I thought it would be like a coffee flavored, it is a coffee flavored chocolate bar, but I thought it would be all coffee flavored. It's good. Have you had any of these so far? Let me know in the comments what you think, if you have a go-to favorite. My mind is blown. I feel like I've been missing out on all these all my life now. It's good. You're gonna want napkins for this, and this is probably more of a geographically centered snack. We have them on the West Coast. You don't have it on the East Coast. Alternatively, you would have lobster, which we're not having today. If you're on the East Coast, today we're having salmon. Wow. Oh, you can't smell it. That smells very good. While salmon is quite common for us West Coasters to eat now, it was a staple in the diets of the First Nations that were here before us. The Coast Salish, the Musqueam, the Squamish bands, the Tsleil-Waututh. And the way to preserve salmon for it to last longer was to smoke it. So they have smoked salmon jerky, but I opted for the maple candied salmon. Ooh. So these little nuggets are perfect for road trips. They're like our Canadian beef jerky. They're smoked, they'll last for a while, but with the maple on it, they're sweet, tender. Look how soft that was. Little delicious salmon nuggets. Okay, next food. Next up for lunch, we're going to La Belle Patate, and with a Quebecois name like that, meaning the beautiful potato, you know the poutine's gonna be right. Good, just a small traditional, please.
Awesome. Just a fork.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome, enjoy.
Oh, it's one of my favorites. I used to hate this as a kid when I first tried it because I loved French fries, and this essentially to me was ruining French fries until you fall in love with it. This, ladies and gentlemen, is poutine. French fries, gravy, and cheese curds. That's the important part, cheese curds, not just cheese. That's cheese curd. That's only cheese curd. So, French fries, gravy, cheese curds. The gravy is vegetarian. Cheese curds is not vegan. I got the traditional, the classic poutine, which is delicious in itself, but you can get all sorts of toppings on it. Maple syrup, bacon, ham, peas, barbecue sauce, Montreal smoked meat, whatever you want, which is kind of one of the beauties of it as well. Look at the cheese. Look at that. Oh, here we go. I lived in Quebec City for 6 months, and this just becomes a wintertime staple. You're outdoors, you're in the cold, you're doing stuff, and you need something to warm you up and bring you back to life, and this is that meal. It's soft, it's gooey, it's salty. The classic is great, but my recommendation is add a little maple syrup on it as well. It gives it a sweet kick. Moving on. Okay, for another Quebecois specialty, we have la tourtière, which is essentially a pork pie. But instead of getting the pork pie, I opted to get an almost even more Canadian version. This is a wild rice pie. Canada is known for growing wild rice. Golden, crisp crust. Ooh. So this is basically a more vegetarian version of the famous tourtière. I'm sorry to be manhandling this pie, but you can't really see it in here. I guess quiche is like a breakfast pie, but I don't know many pies that are lunch or dinner related, and that would be this. So you can get the pork version or the Canadian wild rice version. Both are delicious. You don't need to watch me eat it. I'm about to, I like it. Moving on. Now next up, we're looking for a dessert. Old World Fudge. This is what I was thinking of, but it seems to be closed. Perfect, this place has all the desserts I'm looking for. On to dessert. This is weird. As a very proud Canadian, I'm shocked at how many Canadian foods I haven't tried before in my life. Some of them is regional. We don't get a whole lot of it out here. And that would be this. This is a butter tart. And I think this one has a lot of currant in it, which I think they refer to as raisins. Don't quote me on that. Now, as far as I know, this is very popular in Ontario, maybe even across the prairies. But I hadn't heard of them until just a few years ago, and I've never tried one. But my girlfriend, Nicole, who's from Ontario, basically grew up on these. I mean, you don't eat them every day. It's a dessert. There's clearly more to it than just butter. So I don't know why it's called a butter tart. Maybe I should do some research, but I'll let you know what it tastes like. Very soft crust. Oh, that's not what I was expecting. What is that? I'm not gonna lie. It tastes like a lot of butter and sugar. It's delicious. No way it can be good for you. I mean, it's a dessert after all. Wikipedia considers the butter tart a quintessential Canadian treat, and the filling comprises of butter, syrup, and sugar. So syrup being one of the ingredients. I knew it was familiar. Mind you, there's pretty much syrup in all of our meals, but that's another. Canada. Doing well. We have one more dessert, and then we get to the drinks, the fun stuff. This last dessert is much more common in my area of the country because it was created on and named after a part of Vancouver Island. I'm of course talking about the Nanaimo bar. And it is pronounced Nanaimo bar, not Nanaimo or Nanaimo or Nanaimo. It's Nanaimo bar. These generally come out on a platter, and there's options of Nanaimo bars, brownies, fudge, whatever else, and I always went for the brownies. I just never really tried the Nanaimo bar, but apparently it is a dessert bar that does not require baking. Because it was always next to the brownies, always assumed it had to be baked. It consists of 3 layers, a wafer, nut, and coconut crumb base, the custard icing in the middle, and a layer of chocolate ganache on top. Love that word, ganache. Sounds like something Sean Connery would say. I'm gonna ask you a question and I'm not gonna ask you again. No? Okay. All right, let's give it a go. Oh, that ganache is nice. That's really nice. It's significantly, I mean, it's full of custard. I should have expected this, but it's significantly smoother than I anticipated. All the Canadian foods are so good! I don't know if I can pick a favorite. I feel like I held myself back by always going for the brownie, not trying the Nanaimo bar, not trying a butter tart. Mind you, that's geographical reasons. Try foods. Try more foods. I'm gonna finish this and I'm getting thirsty, so let's go back to my place for some drinks. Hello, and we're back. The obvious choice for drinks is probably craft beer. As Canadians, we know we like our beer, but we're gonna do something a little bit more exciting. We're gonna go with whiskey, which in Canada is called rye whiskey. At the liquor store, we have our own Canadian whiskey section. Canadian rye whiskey, all sorts of flavors. You have everything from traditional to maple to Northern Harvest, all sorts of stuff. So you even have small distillers that make their own, like this, or my favorite, the maple rye whiskey. Delicious. Now this video is sponsored by Skillshare. I've been learning a little bit more about my cocktails. Get into that in a minute, but my favorite here, this maple drink. Love just the sound. Whiskey Stone. It's already pre-chilled. That way there's no water to dilute your drink. Whatever you like. Finger, a couple of fingers, and let the maple flavors and aromas fill the room. But if you're looking for something a little simpler, a little more basic, like the American rum and Coke, you're gonna need ice for this, ice cube, and then you're gonna have yourself your Canadian rye and Canada dry, also known as a rye and ginger. And with cocktails in mind, today's video is sponsored by Skillshare. It is an online learning platform with thousands of courses for curious and creative minds like ourselves to learn all sorts of things, whether it's cooking, productivity, marketing, animation, video editing, or cocktail making. It's a great place to explore new skills, deepen existing passions, and get lost in creativity. Now let's face it, the drink I made, while delicious, is very basic. So this summer I'm trying to up my game, and I've taken How to Make Rye Cocktails, a Home Bartending Guide by Philip Dillow, Be Driven. And I'm learning how to make different cocktails with different garnishes so I can wow family and friends, hopefully once we can get back together. The nice thing about Skillshare is that most of the classes are under 60 minutes and they're specifically curated for learning, so there are no ads, and they're always launching new premium classes so you can stay focused and follow wherever your creativity takes you. It's less than $10 a month with an annual subscription, and lucky for us, the first 1,000 of you to click the link in the description below will get a free trial of the Skillshare Premium membership so you can explore your creativity. So again, a big thanks to Skillshare for building this wonderful platform and for sponsoring today's video. I'm Mike. The channel is DownieLive. I don't know where I'm going next, but I hope you've enjoyed this little food guide to Canada. And if you are a Canadian, let me know in the comments down below what I missed, what you liked, what you didn't like. And if you're not from Canada, let me know which of these you'd like to try. See you next time.